The Trump administration right from the beginning has been very tough on the H1B program. In fact, initially when Trump began campaigning for presidency in 2016, he vowed to curb the H1B program. Back then, the president said, and I quote, "We shouldn't have it. It is very, very bad for workers." After Trump was elected though, his administration declined to push for the outright elimination of the visa, likely due to pushback from tech firms and various interest groups. Instead, the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, the USCIS, and other government agencies launched a series of reforms, some of them very significant. One of the key changes was the readjustment of the H1B lottery process, where changes were made to admit more applicants with advanced degrees. By 2019, Trump had changed his attitude from kill H1B to reform H1B process. So what has been the net result of Trump administration's actions? Well, simply put, a rapidly declining H1B approval rate. Business services firms and consulting firms, which have been regularly accused of misusing the visa, have been hit the hardest. As you can see in this coming graph, only 6 years ago, more than 94-95% of applications used to get approved. And what is happening today? Only 75% of the applications are approved. 25% of the applications, 1/4, are getting declined. And the biggest reason behind it was that USCIS and Homeland Security was uncovering many fraudulent visa applications. They uncovered many cases of H1B visa abuse and fraud, which led to stricter measures. And the latest ruling by the Trump administration would require statutory changes, which is to prioritize H1B applications based on salary. Now, an interesting question to ask is that who gets the highest salaries on H1B visa? The answer is doctors. So many people started thinking that, you know what, doctors will take up all the H1B visas and others will be left behind. That is actually not true. And that is because doctors, university professors, and other people working for not-for-profit organizations are actually exempt from the lottery process. As long as their paperwork is proper and they meet the bar for specialty occupations, they get their H1B visa regardless of the limit on those visas. But let us get our facts right. There is actually no reduction in the number of H1B visas that are to be granted every year. And the current lottery system is really flawed in a sense that it does not differentiate between people who are really deserving of the visa and those who are not so much. The lottery system simply does not differentiate between high talent and low talent. Although President Trump has been talking about a merit-based system, no such system has come to place as yet. Therefore, this proposal of salary-based allocation of visas is some sort of proxy for that merit-based system. So if such a system is rolled out, what will happen is that if a person gets a job on H1B visa, it will be a high enough paying job. And if you have a master's degree from an American university, you get higher preference in the lottery system anyway. So it is very important to understand who are these people who apply for H1B visas. Category number 1 are those who are already in the US. And who are these people? Most likely they are students who are graduating from American universities. And the second category of the people who get H1B visas are those who are outside of the US. And who are these people? Most likely they are those who are working for consulting firms based outside of the US. For example, they are likely working for TCS or Wipro or some other company, and they come to the US to work for the client. Therefore, almost all the people who come from abroad to work in the US on H1B visas are employees of consulting firms. There is a possibility for a third category, but for most part, these are the two groups that really compete for H1B visas. So who are the biggest beneficiaries of this salary-based allocation of H1B visas? The highest beneficiaries of this salary-based allocation of H1B visas, in my view, are those who have solid work experience and then got a degree from American universities. Because these are the people who are likely to draw higher salaries, and these are also the people who are likely to get jobs sooner. The second group of people are those who graduate from top ranked American universities, because these people are likely to get high wage jobs in specialty occupations. And third and final category that I think are the biggest beneficiaries of this salary-based system are those who get jobs in more expensive cities where the salaries tend to be higher anyway. For example, people in San Francisco, Boston, Seattle get higher salaries because of cost of living as compared to those who work in more affordable cities such as Atlanta or Dallas. Now, this salary-based system is a bad news for some other category of people. Who are these people? The people who will be worst affected by this salary-based system for H1B allocation are those who have a degree from the US but a degree below a PhD. For example, if somebody has a master's or an undergraduate degree in basic sciences such as physics or chemistry and who get a job in a lab, their salaries tend to be on the lower side, and because their salaries are not high enough, they will miss out on H1B program. The second category of people who will be highly affected by such a system would be employees of IT consultancies who are trying to come to the US to work. In fact, as I had discussed in one of my previous videos, employees from companies such as Infosys and Cognizant are already seeing higher rates of rejections for their visa applications. The third group of people are quite unfortunate in my view, because these are the people who get jobs at small startup companies. Because these are small companies and many of them are startups, they cannot afford to pay higher salaries to their employees. They just simply cannot compete with giants such as Google or Microsoft. And the fourth group of people who will also be affected by such a system are those who have a good job, solid high position job, but in a cheaper location. For example, let's say you are a software architect, but if you are based out of Nebraska or Mississippi, your salary may not be as high as somebody who is working in Bay Area, and therefore based on salary, such people may get disqualified. So overall, such a system could create some issues that I just discussed, but in my view, in general, this is a good move. Because for the lack of otherwise a better system, this salary-based system is likely to filter out talent where companies or other organizations really need this person and are willing to pay much higher wages as compared to some lower and easy jobs that would have taken place for that H1B slots. And as expected, there is a lawsuit against this move already. Let's see what happens there. But what will Biden administration do? So Joe Biden, in my view, will not undo much of Trump's decisions. I don't think he even wants to undo many of Trump's policies, but even if he wants to, he may not be able to do so. Because of the resurgence in the number of cases in the pandemic, any changes to these Trump policies are unlikely to happen. And it also should be noted that Trump did not actually create very many rules. He just tightened the existing rules, which in my view will be hard to go back on for the new administration. So to summarize, it is a good news if you have come to the US to study from a good university. If you have a good degree, you will likely get a better shot at getting the H1B visa as compared to somebody who is in a foreign country, has only a bachelor's degree and is doing a normal job such as a programmer job. In summary, in my view, this is actually a good move by Trump administration, which will value talent more than luck in the lottery system. It is not the best solution, but it is somewhat a proxy for the merit-based system in my view. Thank you for watching. Jai Hind and God bless America.